Chattantam Deenam Chayam Gopi Bhavarasamrita Dilahari Kallola Magna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda and all glories to the assembled devotees, the members of the Hare Krishna Society and Prabhupada Disciples Association. And we thank you for making this a part of your weekly sadhana program, because it is important for the disciples of Śrīla Prabhupada to follow a strict regimen of spiritual practices that he gave us, and at the same time associate with other devotees that are committed to Prabhupada's mission. We're not independent agents on our own in this material world. We're actually meant to socialize, to be with other like-minded persons who are interested in the same goals that Śrīla Prabhupada had in spreading this movement. And I wanted to bring up a very interesting point about misinformation this morning. What happens, Ram Raghava, when a person wants to justify their particular point of view or position in life? What do? Well, they try to support it with documentation. It's like a lawyer does that. Even though the client may be guilty of a crime, they go ahead and they select all the cases that will support the client to make the court see them as innocent, not guilty. So this is going on in the ISKCON group specifically, where they cherry pick different verses, different conversations, and then they turn the information to suit their particular motive. Very interesting, isn't it? How that goes on. They cherry pick the information. So this is a program, this is another program we're going to be developing with our group. And specifically, I wanted to show the one of our new logos, which is a logo of Prabhupada PDA book publications, which we're planning to do. And these publications, they'll be available not only in hard paper, but also we'll be producing them online so people can get them quickly through the internet facilities. But it is, and Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, our dear godbrother, has come up with this idea. He actually is already developed many of the topics that we're going to present, Ram Raghava. And these, this is the heading, the draft heading right now. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, in his own words, not our words, but him speaking on different topics. For example, the Gaudiya Math. Now, there's a lot of controversy about the Gaudiya Math amongst the God brothers and new people. Now, Prabhupada gave many instructions to us, quite a bit, on how we should relate to his God brothers and the Gaudiya Math. Do you know them? Does everybody here know them? No. But they're there. So we're going to compile a book, a series of books, which will be the words of Śrīla Prabhupāda on these specific topics, like, for example, the Ritvik initiation process. Now, there's a lot of confusion about that. How do you straighten out this confusion? Well, you go to Śrīla Prabhupāda's quotes in his morning walks, in his letters, in his books. All kinds of information is there in his lectures, which give us direction on how we should deal with the Ritvik initiation process. There's a question mark about what about Guru Tattva? Well, do you know really about it? Well, like I said, our godbrother Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu has already compiled a lot of this information for us, and we're going to put them in a series of books, small books, which will deal specifically with these topics, Michael, Dylan, so that you have a direct reference from Śrīla Prabhupada and how to see these things, not cherry pick. These people, they cherry pick information and change the meaning to suit their purpose. For example, we have a situation. I have a godbrother. I've known him for many years, back in the early 70s. And I see him nowadays putting up videos every day. He's got a campaign. That's what you do. You have to campaign to get disciples. And he's doing that. He doesn't have many. He's a bit wacko up the brain, but he's campaigning constantly on social media. Specifically, I see his reels on Facebook. Now, he's talking about Krishna. He's pretending and posing and posturing that he's some kind of big devotee. But what is his main flaw in what he's doing? He's trying to promote himself. Oh, Krishna is this, Krishna is that, Krishna is this. He's repeating the name of Krishna. Do you hear him say Prabhupada is living in his Vani incarnation? Does he speak the examples and analogies from Śrīla Prabhupada for the benefit of others? Repeat what you've heard. That's a direct instruction for Prabhupada. Don't change anything. No. He's preaching to make disciples for himself. Oh, come and be my disciple. Now, this guy is a shallow, Krishna conscious man. Shallow. What do I mean by shallow? He's at the beginning stages. Okay, he has some sentiment. He's sincere in a certain way, but very confused on how to present Krishna consciousness. You don't hear him say that Śrīla Prabhupāda came to this Western world to save the conditioned souls with the chanting of Hare Krishna. You don't hear him talk about Prabhupada's pastimes in that way like we do in our programs. We're reading the diaries. By the way, we had an inquiry from somebody about you'd like to get a diary. They're not being printed, unfortunately. And even when I look at the diaries, sometimes I'm wondering, the editors, what they selected to surround this literature, this great literature, with information, what did they really choose? It's like the, how can I say, the Higher Taste book. This book is a cookbook that was published by the BBT. And somebody made up all kinds of, chapters on it. And they're trying to give people some understanding of how to be a vegetarian or how to... Is it a good book? Well, mediocre, I'd say, very mediocre. We're planning to do The Kitchen Religion. It's another book on the real information that people want to have to start to take up spiritual life and control the tongue by taking prasadam, how to offer the food properly, all the quotes from Śrīla Prabhupāda in these matters. So this is a situation that we have, that there's so much misinformation, and these books will come from the lips of Śrīla Prabhupāda, the original information, so that we can have an understanding of how Prabhupada wanted all of us to act, not how we see it. Like this fellow that's preaching, that he's at a particular stage of devotional service, whatever. But at the same time, is he recruiting people to be Prabhupada disciples? No, he's recruiting people to be his disciples. And how far is that going to take him? Him and his disciples? Well, we are not going to be duped by these people, this misinformation campaign. The history of the Gaudiya Math, his godbrothers, how to initiate, the Vani incarnation, Guru Tattva, all these questions will be answered by our group in due course. And if you're interested, anybody, in working on helping to compile this information with us, like I said, our godbrother Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu has already got a lifetime of effort in this regards. So we're not stuck for a starting point. We've got a real starting point, but when you look at Prabhupada's teachings, there is so much information. It's like an ocean. For example, I have these books, the Conversations of Śrīla Prabhupāda. They're 37 volumes. They're in my bookcase here. Very detailed information just from conversations. What to speak of the thousands of letters. What to speak of all of the information in the Shastras. So if you want to do research on these topics with us, you're more than welcome to participate. And you please get a hold of us. You get a hold of myself, and Rama Raghava has my phone number memorized. So you can call us, and we'll talk about how you can participate and go from there and be documented in the history of the revolution against the misinformation society that exists and is not representing Śrīla Prabhupada practically. This is very unfortunate. and this is going on, in the name of religion. There's lots of people do that. They use God or they use guru to set up their own business, the guru business. And it goes on. You know, having been in business in the early years of my life, earlier years, and done, not to brag, but I've done a lot of business. Oh yeah, lots of winning and losing. We have experience, and we want to share this understanding to all of our members so that we can properly help people get this right away. In the future, it's about the future, everybody. It's not about necessarily the present. It's about future generations getting a proper understanding of the truth without misinformation. Look at how many versions of the Bible there are, Michael Dillon. How many? There are thousands. There's thousands of them, and everybody sets up a little church in the corner, and they set themselves up as the representative of Jesus, and they mislead people. Like in Hamilton here, we have this place where one of our fellows here at the house goes, and the head of the church there, his name is Prophet Tom. Prophet Tom. Oh, yeah. Spelt Profit. Prophet Tom. So he's not a bad person, but at the same time, the point is there are lots of different groups, thousands of them, and this ISKCON group is becoming the same type of thing. Watered down philosophy, watered down principles, all for the basis of personal ambition. And this, we have to destroy this misinformation moving forward for the benefit of people in the future. So think big, don't think small. Dāsa avatar. How'd you like that? Is that all right? Are we okay? We're going to go to the diaries. Ram Raghav is conducting the program. Very interesting section here. Let me see. So American people, I very much appreciate them. Prabhupada speaking about his experience of preaching in America after being in India and not being appreciated there. They are religious. They have got very good potency for understanding God consciousness. That is my opinion. And it's true. Here in Hamilton, there's hundreds of churches. And big ones. Now they're shut down the street from us. There's large churches, cathedrals, all boarded up. So people are losing their interest in spiritual life dramatically in the Kali Yuga. That is my opinion. I do not know why I was inclined to go to America. It was also Krishna's desire, because I thought that if this movement, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Pritiviti ache yata nagarati gram, sarvatma prachara hoibe mora nam, that his prediction that as many towns and villages are there on the surface of the globe, everywhere this message of Hare Krishna mantra and Lord Chaitanya's name will be there. So I thought that I should go to America. If the American people take it seriously, then other people will take it. It's a very profound realization by Śrīla Prabhupāda, which he manifested, everyone. And you know that this was a very valuable message coming from God himself to the human society. And Prabhupada was the ambassador of truth throughout the world. And that's our job, Dāsa Avatar, to be an ambassador of Śrīla Prabhupada. Not you're going to be Dāsa Dasa Avatar, Śrīla Dasa Avatar Guru. And you're going to make all kinds of disciples. So actually, this is happening. These boys are so enthusiastic in preaching that on my word, they are going any part of the world, any part of the world. They are prepared to go to any part of the world. And just now, I received one letter from my disciple, Sriman Upendra Das. He does not know Hindi. And in the Fiji Islands, there are many Indians, but still, he is making propaganda. He's simply chanting Hare Krishna mantra door to door. There are also husband and wife, and people are very much appreciating. So my Guru Maharaj, desire and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction is now being fulfilled. At least it has begun to be fulfilled. So it is a genuine movement, authorized movement, and India's original culture. So our appeal to the Indian people that you should take seriously about this movement and try to cooperate with us. And when Prabhupada came to Toronto, he spoke, because we had a very large East Indian membership, and Prabhupada spoke quite profoundly about that to them at the Avenue Road Temple, Hare Krishna Temple. We had 500 people there. That will be a glorification for Indian culture. At the present moment, India is known as very poor, poverty-stricken country. People are under pressure. Let's see what we got here. I'll go. That they are beggars. I sent so many pages here for him. Okay, up there, sorry. Try to pull that up. That they have got nothing to give. They simply come here to beg. Actually, our ministers go there for some begging purpose. Give us rice. Give us wheat. Give us money. Give us soldiers. That is their business. But now this is historically, India's changed now. But this begging propaganda, it is giving propaganda because they are hankering this material consciousness. The material consciousness means to enjoy sex life and drink and have sufficient money. These three items, they have got sufficient immense. They are. So far, material comforts, there is no conception of India, how they are materially comfortable. Their words, their roads, their cars, their machines. You cannot imagine how American roads are. Now, India has changed quite a bit. I haven't been there in 25 years, so I've seen pictures. There are freeways now in India. In America, there are freeways without any stoppage. You can run your car in 70-mile speed and 4 cars going up and 4 cars going down. And in Toronto, you have 32 lanes. The 401, it's huge. And the roads are like velvet. Remember in India, you go from Calcutta Airport up to Mayapur, and all the trees are over the roads, and there's just room for one vehicle, and the cars are going by. There's bullock carts there, and every kind of person and thing, and you're like, wow, this is a different world. Now it's totally different. I know the old India, like you Yaśodā-nandana, and even it's not an old India, but old compared to what it is now. Our roads, so there's no comparison of their material advancement. So I always, when I run on some freeway, the boys run our cars. Yes. And you'll be very pleased that in each and every temple, we've got at least 4 cars nice. At the Toronto temple, we were doing so much Sankirtan, we had 17 vehicles. I had a garage, I had to have a garage, and a full-time mechanic to keep the vehicles on the road for our Sankirtan work back then. 17. Especially one car for me and 2 cars for carrying them for the Sankirtan movement. Very good arrangement, better than any temple in India. If you go sometimes, I request you to go. But one condition is that you have to become life member. But if you go, you will be very much pleased in our temples. And this Dr. Rao, perhaps you know, he is a professor in your Gorakhpur University. He was a research scholar, atomic research scholar. His wife is sitting here. So he's very much captivated with the temple worship. And there he became my disciple. So very interesting. And we'll go to the next section of the program, but lots to meditate on here this morning on how you want to participate, how you want to support the mission of protecting Prabhupada's legacy for future generations. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada, and all glories to the Prabhupada Disciples Hare Krishna Society members. Let's move forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, and then we'll have the reading and discussion of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam led by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada.
Sai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Chaitanya Sadasyaman Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridham ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Swami Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya. Narayanam namaskritya. Naram chaiva narottamam. Naram chaiva narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyāsam. Devim Saraswatim Vyāsam tato jayam mudirayat. Tato jayam mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead, Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Śrīla Vyāsadeva, the author. From Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. As we do every week, it should be noted that this reading and discussion is based on the original 1962 version of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and that all of the various synonyms, translations, and purports are from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. As we do every week, we will be reciting a few Sanskrit verses from the first canto, second chapter, which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Yadanudyasina yukta karma granti nibandanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Shushrushoho sradadhanasya vasudeva kataruchihi syan mahat sevaya vipra punyatirtha nishevanat. O the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all ranges of vice, a standard of great service is done, and as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Srinvatam svakata Krishnaha punyasravana kirtanaha hridyantastoya bhadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, thus cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge for hearing Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu vabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Tadarajastamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chitayeterana viddam stitam satviprasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in the mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavat bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayati. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvari. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We will proceed with our reading. This week we are reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5. I believe we're on text number 33. Is that correct? 23? 23, okay. 23. Aham pura. Wait a minute. Chapter 5 or chapter 6 here? Hold on.
Chapter 6.
Okay, here we go. Satsevaya adirgaya apijata maidridamatihi itva. Whoa. Hitva avadyamidam lokam gantamajjantam asi. Satsevaya, by service of the absolute truth. Adhirgaya, for some days. Api, even. Jata, having attained. Mayi, unto me. Drida, firm. Matihi, intelligence. Hitva, having given up. Avadyam, deplorable. Idam, this. Lokam, material worlds. Ganta, going on. Majjanatam, my associates. Asi, become. Translation by His Divine Grace, Śrīla Prabhupāda. By serving of the absolute truth, even for some days, a devotee attains firm and fixed up intelligence unto me. As such, he goes to become my associate in the transcendental world after having given up the present deplorable material worlds. Purport. Service of the absolute truth means to render service unto the absolute personality of Godhead under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master who is transparent via media between the Lord and the neophyte devotee. The neophyte devotee has no capacity to approach the absolute personality of Godhead by the strength of his present imperfect material senses, and therefore, under the direction of the spiritual master, he is made up to such transcendental service of the Lord. And by doing so, even for some days, the neophyte devotee gets a fixed up intelligence in such transcendental service, which leads them ultimately to get free from perpetual inhabitation in the material worlds and be promoted in the transcendental world to become one of the liberated associates of the Lord in the kingdom of God. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhaktisiddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Gurave Namaha Bhagavad Vandanam Khadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sarkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshataham Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yache Punaha Punaham Srimad Padam Bhoja Dulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvatam Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Satakaromi Swam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We see in this text of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam the bona fide process of making tangible spiritual advancement. Prabhupada explains the neophyte devotee has no capacity to approach the absolute personality of Godhead by the strength of his present imperfect material senses, and therefore, under the direction of the spiritual master, is made up to such transcendental service of the Lord. Now, this is the kindness of the bona fide Acharya to prescribe and establish the bona fide method by which one can make spiritual advancement. We all know from Prabhupada's own statements in the little leaflet that he produced in 1966 in New York called Enchanting the Maha Mantra. This was one of Prabhupada's first publications. It is just one page, but there are so many profound statements in that one page in his explanation of the meaning of the Maha Mantra. And Prabhupada describes that one does not have to understand the language or know the language. Prabhupada several times explained that even a child can take part in it, and even in that statement Prabhupada made, even a dog can take part in it. We had personal experience in South India, in the city of Mangalore. City of Mangalore is on the western coast of India in Karnataka. We took out a kirtan party of chanting Hare Krishna, and several brahmacharis were distributing cards with the Maha Mantra, and they had some of Prabhupada's small books. And at one point, the dog came in behind the kirtan party, and the dog would participate in the kirtan. He would jump. So we formed a circle, and the dog was just outside the circle trying to jump on his two legs, participating. Now, that is quite amazing. Although we do not know what this living entity did in his past life. But this is confirmation. And this has been experienced by many devotees. I've often related the story of one time we were taking a morning walk in Vrindavan in 1974 near the Keshi Ghat. This is near the place where Lord Krishna killed the Keshi demon. And there's a very beautiful palace there. And there's a lot of small alleys around there. So we were walking at one point, and Prabhupada had stopped, and he was talking to the devotees. And what happened is one wild dog came running towards Śrīla Prabhupāda, barking. Now, those of you who have been to Vrindavan in India, you do know these are not domesticated dogs like they have in America or Europe, where the dogs are pampered and dogs and cats are taken care like babies. These are wild dogs. They fight for food. They fight for survival. So this dog was a fairly good-sized dog, fairly large dog. And he came running towards Śrīla Prabhupāda. So we were getting ready to try to defend Prabhupada, either by some measure of kicking the dog or something. And at one point, Prabhupada looked at the dog and he took his gun and he said, "Hut, hut." And the dog totally froze. And it was as though somebody had injected the dog with some medication to totally freeze the dog. And he looked at Śrīla Prabhupada and he bowed down. And then he got up and ran away. And we looked at that, it was almost like mystic power from Śrīla Prabhupada. The point being is that the name of Krishna given by the Acharya is very powerful. In the Chaitanya Bhagavata, there is mention how Haridas Thakur explained that the chanting of the name of Krishna, especially the kirtan, is especially powerful. Not simply that the human beings get benefit, but the animals, the beasts, the birds, every living entity gets benefit from hearing the Maha Mantra. And this is very, very powerful. So this is the mercy of the Acharya, that he brought this Maha Mantra everywhere, gave this Maha Mantra, preached all over the world, established the Bhagavad Dharma, and basically gave a chance to everybody to uplift themselves and come out of this miserable material existence. And it doesn't matter what condition one is in. There's so much propaganda. Often in this program, we have mentioned about a deep state of misinformation and misrepresentation, which has affected and infected Śrīla Prabhupāda's society. The lack of discussion, the repression, the oppression, the political nonsense, the separate political nonsense discussion behind closed doors, like mundane politicians, the distortion of Śrīla Prabhupāda's teachings, the politicization of Prabhupada's teachings. And what has happened, because of this modern media, it made it easier for devotees to basically open their eyes and discuss with other devotees, to exchange information, and to basically go very deep into Śrīla Prabhupāda's teaching without fear of retribution, harassment, or nonsense. I just want to relate a little story about an experience I had in South India with a devotee who is on this program. His name is Narasimha Das. When we were in South India in 74, 75, we had some very minimal facilities. At one point, we were collecting for the construction of the Radha Madan Mohan Temple in Hyderabad. And in order to make programs, because we would arrange programs at places like Lions Club, Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, Chamber of Commerce, different temples, different facilities, And in order to do that, we had to send somebody ahead to the next city that we would be visiting with a devotee, with an Indian devotee who knew the local language. So Narasimha Prabhu used to go there. Now, understandably, he did not know the language in Andhra Pradesh or Karnataka, but some way or other, he was very austere and very, very knowledgeable. Basically, what we had is a situation where he was able to arrange his program, arrange all the accommodation, arrange the prasadam. I don't know how he did this. At some point, I came to the conclusion either he had been doing that in his past life, and some way or other, everything was arranged very nicely. And we're very grateful for such a very fixed up, nice devotee, Narasimha Prabhu, his tremendous service to Prabhupada's mission in South India and wherever other places where he has been. Because one of the reasons that this temple in South India, or even the programs in Bangalore, were eventually successful is because of the dedication and the tremendous focus and work of devotees like Narasimha Prabhu and so many other devotees. So we're very grateful for his presence on this program. Coming back to this point where we're discussing, it's interesting to note the choice of word of Śrīla Prabhupada, that Prabhupada is explaining, and by doing so, even for some days, the neophyte devotee gets the fixed up intelligence in such transcendental service of the Lord. Transcendental service, which leads them ultimately to get free from perpetual inhabitation in the material world and be promoted in the transcendental world to become one of the liberated associates of the Lord in the kingdom of God. Now, it's important to understand that Prabhupada's transcendental presence is very powerful. And there's been a lot of misunderstanding of how to associate with the bona fide Acharya. Various neophytes with a poor fund of knowledge have postulated and presented samadhis that their vapu is so essential for spiritual advancement and to be connected to Śrīla Prabhupada. Such ignorant neophytes have even presented that people can no longer understand Śrīla Prabhupada's books without their explanation, without their physical presence. This is simply nonsense. Anybody who is familiar with the introduction of this book, Prabhupada says right in the dedication in this book, to Śrīla Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, my spiritual master, on the 26th annual ceremony of his disappearance day. He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. Now, let's understand this. Prabhupada did not say here that simply that this is a bodily philosophy, a vapu philosophy. It is a vani philosophy. How many times did Prabhupada present to us that vani is more important than vapu? But since 1977, the deep state has misinformed the devotees that their vapu is now more important to understand Prabhupada's teachings than Śrīla Prabhupada himself. I keep quoting this lecture from 13th of January 1969, where Śrīla Prabhupada explained in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class, what we have heard from the spiritual master, that is living. Let me just repeat that so it sinks in. What we have heard from the spiritual master, that is living. We don't need the foolish political interpretation and foolish agenda, personal agenda of some motivated people to explain to us what Śrīla Prabhupada really means in his very clear, lucid, easy to understand teachings. It is not complicated. It is not difficult to, it only becomes difficult to understand when there is misinterpretation for sense gratification, when people try to change the meaning of the text for some political purpose. Now, today I have to leave a little early, so I will read for a little bit a few quotes from the Lilamrita Review, section 1, page number 3, at the bottom of the page. This is a quotation from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, canto 1, chapter 13, text 55. A pure devotee of the Lord does not live on any planet of the material sky, nor does he feel any contact with the material elements. His so-called material body does not exist, being surcharged with the spiritual current of the Lord's identical interest, and thus is permanently freed from all contaminations of the sum total of the Mahatattva. Being freed from this material nature, meaning of the qualitative oneness with the Lord, Sakshat Hari, which the pure devotee has fully realized. Are we able to bring the text, Ram Raghava? No?
No, Prabhu, I don't have that section.
Okay. Then we have a quotation from the Canto 3, Chapter 4, text 31. As the Lord is not affected by the modes of material nature, so a pure devotee of the Lord is also not affected by the modes of nature. That is the primary qualification of being one with the Lord. A person who is able to attain this transcendental qualification is called Jivan Mukta, or liberated, even though he is apparently in material conditions. Then again, we have another quote from Śrīla Prabhupāda from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, text 38. This is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees of the Lord do not become influenced by the material qualities. Then we have Śrīla Prabhupada explaining in Canto 1, Chapter 6, text 29, the personality of Godhead and his liberated devotees like Nārada appear in the material world by the same process. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the birth and activities of the Lord are all transcendental. The Lord and his devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 6, text 29. Then we have Canto 7, Chapter 1, text 35. The Lord comes to this material world through the agency of his internal potency. And similarly, when a devotee or associate of the Lord descends to this material world, he does so through the action of the spiritual energy. Śrīla Prabhupāda's body has nothing to do with matter. It is spiritual. Thank you very much. I have to proceed a little early today. We had 5 inches of snow just early this morning, so I got to go shovel some snow. I'm sure in Montreal and Hamilton and Canada are very familiar with that. Thank you very much. I'll turn the program over back to Vishwakarma Prabhu in very good hands. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Thank you. And I thought it was really relevant, Prabhu's Yaśodā-nandana, this quote here, what we've heard, Prabhupada's quote to us, what we've heard from the spiritual master is living. So that means it's animate, not inanimate. It's alive in sound, because the sound vibration is coming from the spiritual plane. And Prabhupada mentioned that today in the purport, that the spiritual master is the transparent via media representative of Krishna because of his position of full surrender to the mission. We read that also in the diaries this morning, how Prabhupada was carrying out the order of his spiritual master to preach in the Western world. And this was actually an order from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, the Supreme Lord, to take the message and spread it all over the world, which Prabhupada has done. So the holy name, the principle of sound in vibration, and the manifestation, the non-dual manifestation of the Lord and the transcendental philosophy of Krishna consciousness that's manifested from Śrīla Prabhupāda is non-different than him. Just like Prabhupada was mentioning, and we hear this constantly, that when you chant the holy name of Krishna, can you see Krishna? Do you see Krishna dancing in front of you? No. But Krishna's there. Prabhupada says he's there, he's chanting, he's dancing on the lips, the tips of your tongue, because of the non-dual aspect of spiritual life. So whatever the Guru speaks, the bona fide Acharya, is Shastra. Well, Scripture. What is the value of Scripture, Michael Dillon? There's no way to understand the value of that on any material platform because of its treasure house of information that is being delivered to us. It's a secret. And for the sincere disciples of Śrīla Prabhupada, it becomes revealed in a very special way. You can superficially represent this philosophy. Yes, you can. And you can pretend to be some great avatar. Okay. Everybody has that right. But Śrīla Prabhupada and his words, his life, his activities are a pure representation of a person who is fully surrendered to the mission of Lord Chaitanya. And this is a very unique position to be in this surrendered state. And we are also very blessed because we are receiving the information and it's unadulterated, unchanged. And in this way, we get a pure message of the truth, because transcendental life requires vijnanam, practical knowledge realized by association from the pure devotee, not superficial. Someone could say, well, how can you claim that? Well, it's like Prabhupada gave the example, Mother Ruchicha, of the pudding, tasting the pudding. How will you know what the pudding tastes like unless you sample it? You have to sample it. And in this way, you understand its delicious flavor. So in the same way, when a person is properly connected in the disciplic succession by understanding the proof of the pudding is in the association of Śrīla Prabhupada, then they taste the transcendental value of this understanding of Vani Vapu. Otherwise, you don't. You can think whatever you want. That's okay. And everybody is entitled, Ram Raghava, to opinion. We see that all the time. We had some person on the chat here this morning gave some opinion. Okay. And I've asked, call us and we'll discuss it, because this forum is not for that. It isn't. We're not here to win an argument. No. We're here to explain the truth to people, and those people that are humble, that are submissive, that want to learn will understand this. And other people, they won't. It's like sunglasses. When you wear sunglasses, then your vision is changed depending on how dark the glasses are. And everybody can wear their own pair of sunglasses, but if you want to understand the facts, come with senior devotees. Senior Prabhupada, like Yaśodā-nandana in our group. He mentioned Nārada today, okay. And it was good to have him here. If you want to come to this understanding, you get the association, Guru, Shastra, Sadhu, Guru, Śrīla Prabhupāda, his books, and then his devotees who are committed or devoted to him to protect his unchanged legacy. This is the way you make advancement. And anything else, you're on the platform of mental concoction, mental speculation, my opinion, my idea, my perspective, my purpose, like that, all I, me, and mine. And this is going on in the material world. And it's been going on forever, whether it's in the political realm or in the spiritual realm. This independent free will and the opinions that people postulate for whatever reason are going on. And we are here to help others get this vision of Krishna consciousness, because by this, when you sit down and you read the books on your own, because you have to, or you should, then you as an individual will experience the transcendental potency of the book, because it's unadulterated, unedited, and unchanged. And that's what we're telling people. That's it. We're not trying to discourage people, but give them the pure understanding of this philosophy. And in this way, they will feel connected to Krishna consciousness through the mercy of Guru, the bona fide Guru, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. Ram Raghava, if you could further comment.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the nice class. I was just thinking, you have mentioned this before, how Śrīla Prabhupāda says in the Nectar of Devotion, that by reading the Nectar of Devotion, we are associating directly with Śrīla Rupa Goswami. And so the same goes with Śrīla Prabhupāda's books. And he has also said many times, if you want to know me, read my books. And he had never said that you have to have somebody else to understand my books. He said, reading my books, you will get association. And if you read them again and again, you will understand. And of course, we can take the help of senior devotees. That's never denied. But he never says that you have to have any external source to understand this philosophy through my books. So I was just thinking of that.
Well, that's an interesting point that you made, because yesterday I was mentioning about our godbrother in Mexico, Krishna Kishore. Now, his particular situation, he became Krishna conscious because he got the books. And he read these books for over a year. And the spark, the inspiration to take it up happened immediately as soon as he picked one up. And he got that inspiration that here is some information I've never experienced before. I want to learn about it. I want to do more to advance my understanding of it. And he did it specifically with Prabhupada's books. So you're right. It's that way. And of course, we're social beings. People are like that, let's face it. We like to associate, and birds of the same feather flock together. So this idea of working on spreading this philosophy of Guru Tattva and the protection of the legacy is a thing that Prabhupada wanted us to do. just like we will always work together in spreading Krishna consciousness, especially in Toronto when I was there and we purchased the temple. It was teamwork that makes dreams work. It wasn't one person. It was a group of us that worked together. And we bought the biggest temple in North America. And Prabhupada sent me a letter and he said, congratulations. Actually, he sent me a telegram, Rochisha Devi Dasi, from Nairobi. And he sent me a telegram, and there was one thing on the telegram, one word, congratulations. That was it. And then he sent a further letter to us, and he was so excited that we had purchased the temple, and he asked me to put up a signs on the building, Ram Raghava. He wanted us to advertise, because the Avenue Road Temple is in the main street coming into Toronto, which is a world-class city. And there's something like 30 or 40,000 cars that come down that street every morning to go to work. So he said, put up a neon sign chanting the Hare Krishna mantra for everybody to chant. There, oh, look at that, eh? And there's a sign up there, the Hare Krishna mantra. And there was a sign on the front and back. And actually, we opened up, interestingly, Rama Raghava. I thought, well, the city wouldn't give us the permission to do a flashing sign because of the impact on the traffic. You know, the bylaws and that don't allow it. So what we did is we opened a restaurant up the street, and we named it the Hare Krishna Restaurant. And I put up a huge red sign on that building as well. So when the people came up Avenue Road from the Parliament buildings, they saw Hare Krishna Restaurant and then Hare Krishna Temple. So that way, they were chanting as they went up the street and got immeasurable benefit from the propagation of Krishna consciousness by hearing the holy name. And millions of people became exposed to the Hare Krishna philosophy and the Hare Krishna mantra with this simple work. So working together with devotees is a very important part of getting strength in purpose. Michael, it's like bamboo. Prabhupada gave this example of bamboo. One stick can easily be broken. But when you tie a bundle together, 5 sticks, it becomes a weapon. It really does. So the association of devotees is very important. Guru, Shastra, Sadhu. These 3 principles are very important, Rama Raghava, for advancing your Krishna consciousness as you move along. I'll give one more example. I was in India in the Mayapur festival in 1974. I was just looking at a tape in my library of us when we chanted with Krishna Das Babaji. We had met him at the Sridhar Swami ashram in Mayapur under permission of Śrīla Prabhupāda to go there on a boat up the Ganges River. So we went up there. It was so exciting, Michael. It was, I can still feel the energy. I could see myself in the boat. I didn't know much, but I thought, oh, I'm just going along with the group. And we went there to Sridhar Swami's ashram, and we were treated to a kirtan by Krishna Das Babaji. And I have the tape here in my office. The original, I want to transcribe it and share it with other people. And he chanted, and he was amazing. Many of us were musicians, and we were flattered to hear him play the mridanga and sing. His voice, he was tremendous. And the following year he came to Mayapur, and I was there again for the Mayapur festival because Prabhupada was there. We were going every year. And we invited him to our room on the wall that Yasoda had paid money. He had given many tens of thousands of dollars to build this wall, Ram Raghava, if you recall. Because before that, there was no wall. It was just a pathway, and you went up, and there was that one building, if you remember, in Mayapur. So we invited him over to the wall, and there was a guy, Hranya Garba, he was Jagadananda, he was there, Uddama Shlokam, myself, Nandi, a whole bunch of us were there to celebrate Krishna Das Babaji coming to Mayapur to see Prabhupada. I actually had a darshan with him and Śrīla Prabhupāda when we purchased the Toronto temple. Prabhupada invited me to his room and asked me all the questions about the purchase, and he explained it all to Krishna Das Babaji in Bengali. That was a very magnificent moment in my history. A lot of times I forget about that, but at the end of the kirtan, we chanted Ram Raga for over 3 hours in the room with him leading. And on the tape, you hear me speaking, I explained to him, oh, Prabhupada, he's come to the Western world to spread Krishna consciousness. And it's by his potency that the holy name is being distributed all over the world. And he laughed with great joy and happiness when he heard that. Yes, he was so inspired when he saw the results of Śrīla Prabhupāda's work in spreading Krishna consciousness to people from other countries and other nations. So Krishna consciousness is a dynamic process, and we develop it in association with other devotees that understand Prabhupada's position as living in his sound. I wanted to call upon, I think he's still here, Ron Singh, if he could share a few comments with us today on today's program.
Try. Thank you very much for the classes, and to all the hosts who've been hosting the programs. It's been very wonderful to associate like this. This is a very unique program for everyone, and it's being recorded for the devotees who will be watching it in the future. There's a lot of devotees who have questions, and they don't have any answers because Śrīla Prabhupāda's books have been changed. The instructions of management have been changed. A lot of things have changed. Basically, the whole movement changed after the manifest disappearance of Śrīla Prabhupada in November of 1977. So the whole system of Krishna consciousness changed when these so-called gurus took over the movement. They changed the books. They created another entity to manage the books. So devotees should associate with like-minded devotees who know the truth, speak the truth, and even though we might be few in numbers, but one person who knows the truth can change the whole world. So more or less everyone here has been coming to the programs for over 2 years now. We've been going now. So they're pretty much empowered to help others to get the right understanding. And if they themselves do not know, then they can ask the questions, and we'll get them the right answers and point them in the right direction. So thank you very much to all the devotees here, Yasoda-nandana Vishwakarma, Ram Raghava, many devotees, Krishna Kathas there. We got our books coming. So a lot of good things are happening. So kindly stay online with us. And if you like some service, or if you want to come to Oroville, we have a center in Oroville. We'll be doing lots of good things there. It's just the beginning. So everyone and anyone who has some understanding and who feels like they want to participate, they can contact me, Vishwakarma. We're here to assist you in your Krishna consciousness, even give you shelter if you need. So thank you very much, Prabhus.
Excellent. And I just further, at the beginning of the program, I was mentioning about these booklets that we're going to create with our group. And if anybody's interested in helping us, I know that Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu and Nārada have already done extensive work on the words of Śrīla Prabhupāda and how he wanted our movement to carry on after his departure. And these booklets are very important, and they're His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda in his own words. No, not our words, not our interpretations, not our speculation. His simply hear the words of the spiritual master and then try to understand them. And the combination, Patricia, is not only the hearing process, but it's personal practice as well. So there's a recipe. I'm sure you're a cook, and you know myself, I'm a very experienced cook in the Krishna movement, and there's a recipe for all your preparations when you make them. And so there is also a recipe for spiritual realization. And it's not just to read the books. Like, for example, Prabhupada would say you have to chant your rounds. So you have to. It's not a choice. You have to chant your rounds. And you have to chant them, no matter good or bad, you chant them every day as part of your routine. And then there are regulated principles that we adhere to. And by practicing those, and by chanting your rounds, and by distributing prasadam to others, and reading the books, you have a weekly sadhana program. Because we're not really interested in everything else that's going on in the world. We're interested in what we're doing. Yes. And how we work together to present this particular point of view in terms of Krishna consciousness based on our own experiences. And you have to judge for yourself. You have to judge for yourself. Everybody has discrimination. They have to determine for themselves what they're going to do, who they want to be around. I always say this, look, if you want to associate with, I'm just using an example of a person, if you want to associate with a person like Radhanath or Devamrita or a whole large number of people, do it. Make your day. Turn on their classes, go listen to their kirtans, and follow what they want you to do, because that's what they're postulating or presenting. It's your choice. You're free to do that. And if you have an open mind, you want to hear what we have to say and you want to be a part of it, you're more than welcome. And we appreciate your participation. Krishna Gata, if you could further illuminate on these subjects. See there? I think I see.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda.
There he is. There he is.
And his amazing advent, the Shaktivesh avatar, that we are all so blessed to have even the slightest contact via his Vani instructions, such as myself, never had any personal contact in his Vapu, like yourself and Yaśodā-nandana did. And these pastimes that you and Yaśodā enliven us with, give us a window, are just yet another medium, because there's so much video coming over these different online formats, you know, Instagram and Facebook, and devotees are posting all these wonderful videos that I've never seen of Prabhupada in this location and that location, getting in and out of a car, going in a temple. I mean, we have so much association with Śrīla Prabhupada. Krishna, the timing couldn't be better when tech is getting, worldwide, right? The World Wide Web. Anyone standing on any square meter on this planet, if you have a device, you can associate with Śrīla Prabhupada, the Paramahamsa, the swan-like personality. So you started the program very nicely, Vishwakarma, as you always do, about this misinformation disease, right? You know, Prabhupada called the book changes, you Americans have this change disease, and Ramaswamy recognizes this. He knows. He wrote a letter maybe about a year ago, imploring the BBT, stop printing these change books, but they didn't listen. And so you can only just put the horse, in front of the bucket of water, but if he doesn't want to drink, you can't force him. So we're putting the bucket of water in front of everyone in this strange analogy that I'm coming forward with, but it's really the honor and the duty, and it's our service. Like you spoke about these books that the PDA, mostly from Yaśodā, from decades of compiling, will finally prove that if you cherry pick, then you're going to get that result. You're right. You're just going to get what you want to read, what you want to feel and see, and your agenda is hidden even to yourself. That's how subtle the false ego is. It doesn't even recognize that you just want that cushy position. And so if I pick this cherry and this cherry from the tree and gain all of this adoration and fame and profit, now I've achieved my goal. And according to these particular shastras and quotes, I'm supposed to do this because the GBC has authorized it. And Prabhupada wanted us to follow the GBC, but that's where the spoil that's where the spoiled milk is coming from, right? So everyone that's in that deep state, as you call it, Vishwa, everyone that is following blindly in this misinformation version of Prabhupada's perfect ISKCON is following what they believe to be correct, but they themselves are fooled. And so by publishing online, the digital media, as well as in paper form, it will give devotees that are sincere in their heart to really understand what Prabhupada wanted, the whole cherry tree. So you don't have an opportunity to just hear what certain profit, adoration, distinction-minded people have picked for you so that you're just led astray. Instead, you'll have the entire tree to absorb all of Prabhupada's instructions. This is a brilliant idea. And this is, just see the service that Lord Chaitanya has given both you and Yaśodā. And we are all here to help you as your humble, aspiring servants. So it's a glorious, glorious next step in the HKS, right, Hare Krishna Society, and PDA, Prabhupada's Disciples Association. And, it's because of the sincerity, and that's where the power and the Shakti is. And that's where the power and the Shakti is from Prabhupada's unchanged books. He's so sincere and pure and humble and advanced that that's Krishna speaking through all his books. But when you read a changed book, you don't get that. You get a watered down version and you're led astray, but you're told, yeah, distribute these books. Someone just put up the post. What if this person is, representing the Ritvik instructions from Śrīla Prabhupada, but at the same time, they're distributing the changed books. Well, you know the expression in Bengali, rasa basa, right? That is an incompatible situation. That's an offensive. So you're pretending to advocate for the Ritvik instructions. Okay, that's great, because that is what Prabhupada wanted. But simultaneously, you're distributing the changed books that really aren't, Prabhupada's not the author of those books. It's somebody else. And they're so cowardly, they don't even put their name as the editor. They still put it out there as Prabhupada wrote this, when we know he did not. So I applaud, and I just cannot tell the audience that's listening today and tomorrow through YouTube and on, if you really are serious and you really, really want to catch up on the ship that Prabhupada is the captain crossing the ocean of ignorance, right? Nescience. You have to first start with Prabhupada's words in the unchanged books. And that's what PDA is all about. As you know, everyone on this program knows that we are putting great effort towards distribution, printing and distribution of Prabhupada's original books. And so are so many other devotees that understand this important mission is to distribute the unchanged books. And so, Bhaktaran, I mean, you're doing great things. You've opened a temple in Oroville. This is fantastic. And it's going to be a warehouse. Well, we're going to allow you some room for the temple. But it's going to be a warehouse full of books that are ready for distribution. And this is very pleasing to our spiritual master. So this is how we are blessed. It is servant of the servant of the servant of the spiritual master, the bona fide spiritual master. Thank you all. That is my takeaway from today's discussion, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you. And I wanted to we're winding up the program, and thank you everyone for participation, but I wanted to mention there was a comment made in the chat about reaching out to other godbrothers. And that is, a goal that we do have. We would love them to come and glorify Prabhupada in these programs. They can talk about Prabhupada's pastimes and their experiences. And I wanted to mention Krishna Katha that I do reach out, as you know. And I regularly send our classes to Romeshwar Prabhu, who you mentioned. And yesterday I got a thank you from him on the other class the other day. So even though he may not be here at the live presentation, this information is filtering out to other people, and he's appreciating. And we love that, and we would love him to come and speak about Prabhupada's pastimes that he had with him on this program. You're invited. We don't mind. This is Prabhupada focused. And another point, Ramaragava, I did send an invitation, and I've been trying to deal with a devotee, and this isn't a criticism, by the way, just so people don't misunderstand me, I'm mentioning names. This fellow Mahatma Prabhu from America as well, who's an initiating guru in the ISKCON system. And I've asked him, hey, we give you a cordial invitation to join us at our class and discuss Prabhupada's pastimes for the benefit of other people that attend these programs. Not to talk about whether you're qualified or not qualified. That's another issue. But the real issue is, let's come together to glorify Śrīla Prabhupada in this forum. And in this way, that will please Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, us working together in this way. So like that, we're reaching out to these people, Prabhus. And this Mataji did ask, well, can we do that? And we're trying. What I can't explain everything all the time to everybody, but this is the fact. We're making an effort to engage other people in this glorification of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda. And thank you everyone for attending today's program. And we'll be back next Thursday. I'll be in Mexico. I'm going there to help our godbrother in his spiritual journey. Hopefully he'll recover from his cancer. And at the same time, we'll focus on the Prabhupada Vani presence and bring it to him in Mexico at Casa Goloka. So we're going to work on that. It's going to be good. And I'll update you all on Thursday. We'll be back on Thursday for Chaitanya Charitamrita class, reading and discussion. Very lightly, discussions, Rachisha, this week. Lots of interesting and learning experience for all of us. All glories to the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let's move Ram Raghava to the chanting of Hare Krishna, 2 minutes and 54 seconds, as we march on in our journey back to home, back to Godhead.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled devotees here and online on YouTube. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpa, Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhu, Bhayevacha, Patitanam Pavinibhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. All glories to the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we'll move to the end of the program, and we'll see you next Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,